An inaugural lecture is a once-in-a-lifetime milestone in academia. On the 4th of September 2025, Yaba College of Technology, Yaba, Lagos, witnessed its 19th inaugural lecture delivered by Dr. Builder Adesina Aladeloba. Its topic, communication, why the tower remained abandoned, heretofore, sparked curiosity. At first, many thought it referred to a communication tower. But as the lecture unfolded, Dr. Builder Aladeloba revealed a deeper truth that ineffective communication among stakeholders is a major reason why so many building projects are abandoned or collapse worldwide. Drawing lessons from the Bible, he compared the Tower of Babel, where confusion halted progress, with Noah's Ark, where clear instruction led to success. His message was clear. Communication is the foundation of the construction industry. Dr. Builder Aladeloba ended with 6 recommendations to address building abandonment, including the launch of a new software tool, Nwave, designed to track and improve project communication. This innovation, set for release by the end of year 2025, could reshape the future of construction industry. This was more than a lecture. It was a call to action to build not just with bricks and mortar, but with understanding, clarity, and communication. Now, stay with us as we take you straight into Dr. Builder Aladeloba's full presentation, where he unpacks these ideas in detail.
Adesina Aladeloba was born on June 4 into the family of Mr. Julius Oluwasife and Dorcas Aduke Aladeloba, both late, of Aladeloba, called Odokodo. The father, Mr. Julius Oluwasife Aladeloba, a highly disciplined personality who retired in 1988, was head of the entire telecommunication network of Yaba College of Technology in those days of Nigerian telecommunications, NITEL, when there was no GSM and internet, and above luxury, while the mother was a trader of repute who tried her hands on catering services. In 1971, Adesina's academic journey started at the Lagos City Council Primary School on Oyade Street, Fadeyi, Lagos, where he was nurtured by highly dedicated and passionate teachers whose commitment to the teaching profession was second to none, and more of a calling than an option.
I'm indeed very grateful. I can't believe I'm seeing these wonderful faces. Distinguished and gentlemen, my prompter, please. Let's start from the beginning. Thank you very much. I would like to go into protocols, but I can't resist the temptation of having to acknowledge this crowd, quality crowd. I am grateful. That is a summary of my words of appreciation to you. There's nothing as good as being celebrated. I feel I don't deserve it. To God be the glory. And so the lecture starts now. Protocol, please. Protocol. The rector, Dr. Engineer Ibrahim Adedotun Abdul, the Deputy Rector, Academics, Dr. Ismaila Badmos, ably represented here by Dr. Oleke Tui, the Deputy Rector, Administration, Architect Femi Lawal, Registrar, Mrs. Henrietta Adebola Gbemisola Badejo, ably represented by Barrister Wahab. The Bossa, Dr. John Olushola Dada, Polytechnic Library College of Tech, and of course the Council, Professor Funsho Isholawa, and members of the governing council. Slide 2. Preamble. The fact that God can do all things and no purpose of his can be withheld from him. I surely would not have been able to stand in here today to present my inaugural lecture. This preamble is very important to acknowledge the part of God, the role he plays in my life, thereby fulfilling this obligation to Yaba Tech and, of course, to the academic world. With all sense of humility and gratitude to the Almighty, therefore, I stand as a product of his rare grace before this uncommon congregation, really uncommon congregation, to express my very sincere appreciation for the privilege to say the story of my academic journey from the very beginning up until now, heretofore. Slide. The next slide. Of course, we need to talk about the topic. I want to tell you there is a lot for us to unveil here. The topic was gotten from an inspiration, and that topic, communication. Why the tower remained abandoned heretofore. Rector, sir, this lecture is structured into 9 parts as follows. The first part is the introduction, which explains the background to the topic and the conceptual issues related to it. Because I need to take you along this journey so that you know how we are going to fly, how the board is going to fly. The second one is the part reviews the concept of communication practices, while the third part reviews the project procurement practices at Yaba College of Tech. The fourth part presents the role of the construction industry in advancing economic development. The fifth highlights my contribution to academia and professional practice. The sixth part consists of concluding remarks. Of course, 7 present recommendations, and of course, the 8 acknowledges, while the 9th part lists the references. Now, introduction, the next slide. Rector, sir, the topic is communication why the tower remained abandoned. It explains the characteristics of typical construction sites as an assemblage of a familiar group of people brought together in a network of communication across various levels. Though united by a common purpose, the construction sector is inherently fragmented and dynamic, with numerous stakeholders operating within ever-changing sets of relationships, often marked by conflicting priorities and divergent objectives. This environment I've just painted to you now depicts a culture which is prone to conflicts, lacking mutual respect and trust, conditions that can justifiably lead to project abandonment. The central aim of this lecture is to examine the role of communication as an intervening variable between project characteristics and performance in project delivery. Its purpose is to highlight the importance of selecting appropriate communication practices, explore the advantages of making the right choice, and outline the benefits accruable to choosing right. To achieve this, I employed the hybrid methodology combining literature review and field study. Next one. Regrettably, sir, existing studies have shown that discussions on the role of communication in project delivery tend to focus more on performance outcomes, namely quality, time, and cost, while overlooking the inhibiting factors that may hinder these outcomes. The widely acceptable criteria for assessing project success include structural stability, economic attainment, and of course, aesthetic appeal respectively. This lecture, therefore, addresses the earlier mentioned inhibiting factors, such as the fragmented nature of project teams and the dynamic, often disjointed sector, and highlights the critical need for informed communication choices. Now, it encouraging shared understanding, commitment to priorities, and alignment of objectives through effective communication in project delivery in the foundational consideration underpinning today's inaugural lecture. Communication, why the tower remained abandoned. The next one. The expression the tower remained abandoned, as used in this lecture, can be interpreted through a philosophical lens. Drawing from account in Genesis 11:4. There, the idea was first proposed by the people that, come, let us build a tower that is as high as the heavens. And of course, what happened? Okay? Now, in verse 6, the Lord observed that the people were united, speaking one language. And in such unity, nothing they proposed to do will be withheld from them, including what? Mischief. Human being is full of mischief. I keep saying to people, if God is to show you the heart of the person seated next to you and put it on the screen, everybody will change position. You will change position. But one thing I know is that we have united purpose here. Everybody here, they are in for a purpose to know what has made the tower to remain abandoned and solution for it. We must live here with the solution today. Okay? And since then, consequently in verse 7, he decided to confuse their language so that they may not understand one another's speech. Verse 8 recorded it that following this divine intervention, they ceased building the city. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, God can never be wrong. I found that in my research work, that if God can use that tool, communication, it simply means that it is very, very later, very effective. So I now began to research. Why do we have building collapse? Why do we have building abandonment? And so, I started that. This passage underscores the critical role of communication in project delivery. It affirms the timeless truth that two cannot work together unless they are in agreement. Recommendations. Number 1, I have 6 recommendations. 6 interwoven with strengthen communication in project phases. Number 2, predict performance using models. Number 3, prioritize key communication factors. Number 4, leverage technology and simulation. Number 5, match practices with procurement methods. And of course, number 6, which is my intervention. Now we are where we are now, Nwave. How did Nwave evolve? Nwave is just taking the first letter of all the communication media that we have. Non-verbal, N, written, W, audiovisual, A, verbal, V, and E, electronics. That's where we got Nwave. I now named my app, which is the solution. I now named it nwave.ng.com. I'm going to give you a snippet of it. I'm not going to expose it because I know that anything can happen. Thank you, coding. And so, what does Nwave do? Prevent project abandonment, improve communication process, enhance accountability and performance. So yeah, next one. These are all the things it does. Are you getting me? It is an application software for establishing project performance from choice of communication process adopted. The build-com prototype is a web-based platform designed to demonstrate and monitor the core workflows for communication between core individuals needed to construct a building. The next one, this prototype showcases primary user interactions, flows, and user interactions for stakeholders, feedback, and testing. It is meant to bring together all relevant professionals in an interactive session to begin the appraisal of all construction-related designs submitted in a bid to determine their veracity or otherwise. It is novel and has reached an advanced stage. Hopefully, it will be ready before the end of 2025. Permit me to keep it to my chest to prevent poachers from pulling a fast one on me. It is instructive to know that Nwave is the remedy.
I am sure most of us will be thinking of MTN Tower, Airtel Tower. I've been also. I was expecting that the lecturer will take us through the towers that are scattered all over the states. But then, I am sure by now, we all understand why the tower remained abandoned and what the tower really means. The distinguished inaugural lecturer explained the characteristics of a construction site. And he made us to understand that the construction industry is an assemblage of unfamiliar group of people that have to work together in a complex environment and have no choice but to communicate effectively. He made us to understand that lack of effective communication is the major cause for the abandonment of the tower heretofore. We understand that when you're talking about the construction industry, it's mostly the largest employer of labor in this part of the world, and indeed in anywhere in the world. The main aim of the lecture we have just listened to was to let us know the role the communication process will play as an intervening variable between project characteristics and project performance. However, we have failed to look at communication as a major force in projects. And we have been battling with the issue of project collapse and project abandonment, looking for solution where the solution does not exist. The experts here has made us to realize and to understand that communication remains a very, very important aspect in the communication. In communication remains a very important aspect in the industry. The expression "tower remain abandoned," as used by the lecturer, was likened to the event that led to the abandonment of the Tower of Babel, as depicted in Genesis 11, verse 4 to 7. The lecture was structured into 13 different parts, and it cut across different aspects of the construction industry and the role communication has to play in the industry. It nosedived into the procurement practices in Yaba College of Technology and the academic and professional contribution of the lecturer. I am sure the purpose of this lecture has been fulfilled in many areas. One, we have now come to the realization that communication is germane and must be made effective, not only to prevent the abandonment of the tower, but also to prevent the collapse of relationship between husband and wife. Now, when you have, the lecturer has made us to understand that even when you have those who said, "I do," some minutes ago, and then months later start battering themselves and say, "I don't" again. And that in itself is showing us the power of communication and why it must remain effective. The lecturer has not only identified the challenges, he has also moved to prefer solutions. And that is why I particularly become very, very passionate about this. Inaugural lectures are not meant to chronicle challenges that is known or seen by everybody, but to tell us what the lecturer has done in order to proffer solution to this challenge. And this, our esteemed lecturer, has presented us with a solution to this challenge in what is tabbed Nwave. And Nwave is here to solve the problem of communication in the industry such that the tower will not remain abandoned again. We have been able to realize the depth of his research work and his contribution in not only the academic world, but also in the professional calling. Most of them also in Yabatech. He has given us several solutions that we have to apply, not only to Yabatech, but to the industry as a whole. You'll agree with me that the lecturer has been able to deliver and has taken us through a very rewarding experience. And he is qualified to be discharged and acquitted. By the powers conferred on me by the Academic Board of Yaba College of Technology, I hereby invite Dr. Adesina Aladeloba for his discharge certificate. Having successfully delivered the 19th inaugural lecture of Yaba College of Technology, you are hereby discharged and acquitted and given this certificate.
Progress, innovation is a creed, progress is a guide. In this record we lead us, Yabatech, the nation's pride. Yabatech, learning and service, Yabatech.
Well, the inaugural lecture, the 19th inaugural lecture delivered by Dr. Adesina Aladeloba has been a very wonderful and insightful inaugural lecture. I'm glad that he was able to link it up with the lack of communication or miscommunication at the Tower of Babel, where people were not working together as a team. The Bible tells us in Amos chapter 3 verse 3, say, can two work together except they agree? So there was communication breakdown in that Tower of Babel, and he was able to link it effectively with what is happening in the society today. That's been a very wonderful inaugural lecture. I've benefited a lot. I've enjoyed it. And with the app that he has developed, that app will help to curtail the incidences of building collapse in Nigeria. It's been a wonderful one. I congratulate him and I congratulate Yaba College of Technology. And on the 9th of October, I will be doing my inaugural lecture here too. So you are invited. Come one, come all.
Anyway, Dr. Adesina Aladeloba is one of the chief lecturers in the School of Environmental Study. And he's our dean. Initially he was HOD, he's presently the dean. And he is the 19th inaugural lecture presenter, as you can see today. So, and you realize that the title of the inaugural lecture is on communication, the effect of communication on building construction. And the lecturer is trying to explain that when there is breakdown of communication among the experts, among the builders, among the stakeholders in building construction, we cannot be able to build a solid building, we won't be able to complete a project successfully. And in that situation, we may be experiencing building collapse and sort of environmental challenges. That is the purpose of that lecture. I'm the chairman, College Inaugural Lecture Committee. We are the organizer of this inaugural lecture.
Dr. Adesina is currently my dean. While I was a dean, he was my HOD. Despite the fact that we relate as brothers and colleagues, he has always been a team worker. Even while I was a dean, one of the best cooperations I had was from him. Despite the fact that he was my senior while we were in school together, despite the fact that he was older than me, I had one of the best cooperations from him. And I've known him for a very long time. He's a professional to the core and at the same time an academician. Currently we are working on a professional practice together now. And he's been so transparent, so objective, and a team worker. He knows how to carry people along with him, and he's at his best today. Because one of the best things I know him for is that he's a good communicator, he's an excellent one. And I always tell him that rather than going for building, he should have gone into language, especially English language. And he has demonstrated that today. I wish him a better future, and I wish him more years in this research and professional work.
Well, I'm meeting him for the second time, but I can deduce from the lecture that he's a very intelligent guy. And I'm quite happy that he's also a member of my alumni association, University of Lagos. So anything University of Lagos, I am always happy and proud of the top personalities that project my great school, greatest Akokite. So, and I'm also glad that he's also a member, a proud Omonile of Yabatech, because all of us in one way or the other were Omonile. We all had our foundations here. Our parents started Yabatech and they passed on the baton to us. So when an Omonile does something, it becomes an establishment, and we are proud that it's part of the establishment, and it has made us proud.